Hi, and welcome to Yoga with Elizabeth. Today I have a short sequence for you focusing on the hamstrings and the hips. It's suitable for any levels, but it's also aimed at beginners, so that if you are new to yoga and feel that you need to stretch out those hamstrings or work into the hips a little bit, then this is the practice for you. It's only about 15 minutes, so whenever you're ready, roll out your mat, and we're going to start lying on our backs today. So you won't need any equipment for this, but if you do have a block maybe, that might come into play, but don't worry if you don't. So we're actually going to get straight into the practice today. Just settle yourself on your mat, keep your knees bent, maybe bring yourself into a position of comfortability. Shuffling those shoulders, planting the feet, and just closing the eyes just for an inhale and an exhale here. Just be aware of that belly rising on the inhale and falling on the exhale. And with those feet planted and pushed into the floor, we can feel the back pressing down as well. So we're almost trying to find our neutral position here with the spine, maybe a few pelvic tilts going one way and the other, just to find what's neutral for you. We're going to keep this left knee bent and the foot on the floor and just draw our right knee into the chest. Now we can take the hands around the front of that leg and just give it a gentle little bit of pressure into our center, maybe circling the foot, bringing some mobilization into the ankle. And working with our breathing. So as we breathe in, notice how our body feels lying in this posture. And then as we exhale, maybe we've got some room to take this knee and just draw it to the outside edge of the body. So it's coming towards the right-hand side of the ribs here. Making sure that that left knee doesn't fall out to the side. So we're keeping that knee nice and upright here. And just taking a few inhales and exhales. As we breathe in, we're finding that space, and as we exhale, we're drawing that knee just gently towards the side of the ribs. As we take the leg back to center, so we send the heel up towards the ceiling. Pointing and flexing the toe. We might be able to take a hold of the leg behind the thigh. Keeping those shoulders soft, so if you find yourself straining to grab a hold of your leg, just maybe even relax your arms alongside your body. We're working down the back of the leg here and not bringing any tension into any other part of the body. And again, as we inhale, maybe pushing that heel away. And as we exhale, just seeing if we've got any movement to draw the leg in a little bit closer without forcing. No forcing going on. From here, we're going to take our right ankle and just drop it over that left knee. Maybe taking the right hand to the inside of that right knee, applying some gentle pressure, the key word being gentle, to push that knee away. Or you might like to lift your left foot off the floor. And again, find that connection behind the leg with the hands, encouraging the left knee in towards you with your exhale, at the same time pushing your right knee away. Let's release those legs, those knees, hug them into the center, and then drop the right foot to the floor. And just repeat all of that on the opposite side. You can even close your eyes if you want to, focusing on the breath a little bit more with the eyes closed. As you inhale, you find that space, and as you exhale, you draw the knee in, and again, possibly around to the side of the left. That sounded a very strange way of saying it, the side of the left, or even the left-hand side. Keeping that right knee facing up, it is going to want to fall out to the side, so we have some control over that right knee as well. As we inhale back to center, so we lift that left leg up to the ceiling, point, flex the foot. The inhale pushes the heel away, and the exhale, we notice if we've got any room to draw a little bit closer. Finding that softness through the shoulders. And then as we exhale, just dropping that left ankle over the right knee. Left knee is sent towards the top of the mat. Maybe the right knee comes in towards the body here. Just making sure that you're not bringing any tension into the muscles of your face here. And then as we release our legs, we can hug the knees into center and then bring ourselves all the way up to seated. You can either roll yourself up or give yourself a helping hand, as indeed I am doing this morning. And as we work our way over onto all fours, just stacking our wrists underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips, we can have a little wag of our tailbone, making some circles with the hips as we come through our cat-cow, rounding the back as we breathe out, sinking the belly to the floor as we breathe in, circling it the other way, rounding up on the exhale, dropping down on the inhale here. So I'm going to turn to the side just to show you this next posture. I think it's a little easier. It's a variation of our child's pose, but we're coming into a wide leg variation of this. We're going to take our right leg out to the side and sit back on our left heel. Now, we can stay high on our hands if we want to. The foot can be flat to the floor, maybe turning those toes up, or if you want to, you can work your way down onto your forearms. This is quite an intense stretch to the inside of the leg. So just work with where you are today. Notice how the body feels. I'm going to keep my foot flat to the floor here, but I'm also going to stay in an upright position, maybe just taking the palms of my hands down, softening down through the shoulders and letting the neck and the head feel heavy. Staying in each of these postures just for a couple of breaths, but if you have time, you can actually stay a little bit longer. And as we bring ourselves back, we're just going to swap the legs over and take that left foot out to the side, sinking back onto the right heel here. One side might feel a little bit different to the other, so you might want to come onto the toes or the heel. You might even have more movement on one side of the body than the other, just to rest yourself down into more of a child's pose variation. But just go with how your body feels today. Bringing that foot in, we are going to sit up on our heels and then on our knees. So if you'd like to face the long edge of the mat, we're going to come into a pose called gate pose. So again, starting with that right leg, taking it out to the side. If it's feeling a little bit tight or tender under the knee, just roll your mat over, or maybe get a blanket or a cushion just to rest under that knee. It can get a little bit intense sometimes. We're going to bring our arms out to shoulder height, rolling the shoulders back and down. Take a nice deep breath in, just growing tall through your body up to the crown of the head. And as we exhale, just dropping your right hand down and reaching up and over with that left arm. We can look down towards our right foot or maybe underneath our left shoulder. And then as we exhale, bringing the hands back up to shoulder height. And we're going to windmill it the other way, taking that left hand down to the floor, reaching up to the ceiling with the right. And maybe we have some movement to extend that right leg just up to hip height. Maybe even taking that right arm overhead, finding that long line through the body. Nice deep breath in, long breath out, bringing us all the way back to our gate pose and just swapping the legs over. So again, if you've got a cushion under the knee, throw it under that right knee, lift the arms up, extending through the arms, growing tall through the crown of the head, and as we exhale, taking that bend over towards the left-hand side, reaching the right arm up and over. Moving with the breath, so flowing through these movements. As we exhale, we come all the way up, drop the right hand down, extend that left arm up, and see if we've got some lift in that left leg. Pushing the heel away as though you're pushing that foot against a wall behind you. Reaching our left fingers overhead, so we've got that lovely long line from the tips of the fingers all the way down towards the heel here. Inhale, come all the way back to center. Come down onto the knees. And then from here, we're going to come up to standing. So whichever way you choose, you can come into a down dog and walk the feet forward and stand to the top of the mat. Or we can just take one leg, two legs, and bring ourselves up to standing. Again, we're going to face the long edge of the mat here. And we're going to take a wide stance with the feet, starting with all 10 toes facing the top of our mat here. Let's bring our arms up to shoulder height. So we're in this lovely strong posture, rooting down through the feet, lengthening through the arms, growing tall through the crown of the head as we find our warrior two. So we're going to keep that left foot where it is and just turn our right foot to face the top of the mat. This automatically, we seem to turn our gaze when we do this, looking the way we are going. Move the feet around if you need to as we find this strong warrior. Try not to lean forward. Imagine your tailbone is just shooting straight down to the earth here. Have a little look behind you, see what the arm is doing, seeing if it's roughly the same height as the front. Standing strong in our warrior pose by holding these postures for about 3 to 5 breaths. You're working harder than you think. You don't always have to move and flow. Exhaling out. And on our next inhale, we're going to straighten our right leg, turn the right palm face up, and just draw ourselves backwards into this reverse triangle posture. Exhaling back to center, turning our right foot to face the long edge of the mat, and taking our left foot to face the back of the mat, coming into warrior two to the back. The arms might be beginning to ache a little bit here. Just drop them down if they are. Just holding the arms in this position. You are working them incredibly hard. So we keep the knee of the bent leg out towards the small toe. Again, sometimes it's going to want to sneak in, but we want to keep it out to protect our joints as far as we can. As we straighten through that front leg, so we turn the left palm and draw ourselves behind us, coming into this reverse triangle. Keep pushing into both feet equally. And as we exhale, we make our way back through our warrior and then turn all 10 toes to face the front of the mat. Dropping hands onto the tops of the thighs or the hips. Maybe give yourself a little wiggle, little circle of the hips. Let them know you care. We're going to fold it forward now. So pushing firmly into all corners of that foot. And as we inhale, again, we find that length as we inhale. And as we exhale, just drawing ourselves forward all the way down. Releasing the hands either to the mat, or you might want to have a block or a cushion to rest the hands on if the floor is a little bit too far away for you today. And just let yourself hang down in this forward fold. Tipping the weight forward just a little bit into the toes and then back into the heel, but keeping your entire foot flat to the floor. And then you feel it stretching down the back of those legs. It's a really nice stretch. Maybe bending into one knee as you straighten the other leg. It's almost like a variation of downward dog when we pedal the legs out in downward dog here. Fabulous. And then we are going to walk our hands around towards the top of our mat in our right foot and sink down onto our left knee. We're going to walk our right foot to the outer edge of the mat and push that left knee behind us. So both hands come to the inside of our right foot here. This is a pose called lizard. It's a really lovely stretch for the outside of the right hip and also a little bit into our hip flexor on our left-hand side as well. So pad that left knee if it feels a little intense under the knee. You can even come onto the toes if you want to give yourself an extra challenge. Now, there's so many options to this posture. Today, I'm just going to show you two. So you can either stay on your hands here, or if you have a block or a cushion, or indeed if you have the flexibility, we can take the forearms down towards the earth, but that is quite intense. So feel free to have a little experiment, but just come to a pose that works for you. Now I'm just going to turn to the side a little, just so that you can see. So the foot is flat on the floor, but again, a little movement that you might want to try is just dropping the right foot onto its outside edge, maybe moving it back in again. So you don't have to remain static in any of these postures here. Let's walk that right foot back to center and take our hands either side of the right foot, and then draw the bottom back towards the heel. As we inhale, come forward, bringing that bend back into the knee, maybe looking forward. And as we exhale, just taking the bottom back towards the heel again. As we bring the weight forward, so we tuck the toes of that left foot, and all we're going to do is walk ourselves around to the back of our mat and just find that lovely lizard pose at the back of our mat. So we take that right knee back as far as we find comfortable. Maybe dropping onto the outside edge. Again, I'll just move myself around so that you can see. Maybe coming onto the outside edge of that back foot, walking it in and out. Or you might just want to come onto the toes of your back foot and just hold this posture. Notice how the muscles in your face are reacting. Are you beginning to clench the jaw? Use this time to find the breath, find the softness and stillness in the muscles of the face. Watching the thoughts. Trying as far as you can to relax through this pose. As we bring our left foot back to center. So we frame the leg and the foot and bring the bottom towards the heel, lifting our gaze as we inhale. As we exhale, bending into that left knee again. A few little rocks forwards and backwards, just mobilizing into these muscles, these joints. For me, this is a morning practice. Might be the evening or even a break from work for you. From here, again, we're going to tuck the toes of the back foot, walk ourselves all the way around to the front, and we're going to step it back into a downward facing dog. Lifting those hips high, just letting the head feel heavy. And then from here, just drop your knees down to the earth. Sit back on your heels, drop onto your bottom and bring your legs in front of you. Nicely done, I hear you say. So we're going to come into another variation of pigeon. We're going to come into a seated pigeon pose now. We've done it lying down at the top of the class. So now we are going to bring the hands behind us, bring a bend into the knees, keeping our feet about hip distance apart and dropping our left ankle over our right. This makes our stretch a little more intense because we are seated. Try not to let your head disappear into your shoulders. Lift through your chest. You might want to walk your hands back. If you're feeling quite flexible, you might be able to move your bottom a little bit closer to your front foot. Your body will tell you the position to be in. And if we can flex that left foot as well, so we're pushing that heel away, staying here for a couple of breaths, enjoying that sensation of the stretch in the outside of that left hip. Yes, I did say enjoying. And then all we are going to do is drop that foot to the floor and take our right ankle over our left knee. Again, just finding the position that's good for you. Relaxing the shoulders. Again, try not to round the back or sink it down. Stay tall, stay lifted. Maybe again, even closing the eyes as you flex the foot, pushing that right knee away from you. Uncrossing the leg. Finding yourself in this right angle posture, the seated staff pose, Dandasana we call it. Couple of final stretches here. Taking our left foot to the inside of our right leg, drop our hands either side of that right leg, Root the sit bones down. Imagine you've got like a garden cane down your back. So we don't want to round the back. We don't want that cane digging into us. We want to stay in this lengthened position through the spine. As we walk our hands forward, take a lovely breath in, and as we exhale, drawing the chest forward and down. So our gaze is towards our big toe. You shouldn't be feeling any pain in anywhere, any part of the body. Just a stretch down the back of the leg. And if you're feeling it in the back, just bring yourself up, lengthen forward. So it's the hamstring that we're working on here. Inhale back to center. All we're going to do is swap those legs over. Take that right foot to the inside, dropping our hands down. Nice little shuffle. Toes are facing up, and we walk our hands forward. You will notice a difference between one side and the other. We're not the same on both sides, and we do have more movement, more flexibility. Just keeping that back lengthened if we can, leading with the chest rather than trying to cram our head down towards our knee. And then bring yourself all the way back into a seated position. Find that cushion underneath your bottom if you want to, as we return to a seated pose on our mat. For me, an easy seated pose is cross-legged. You might want to sit on your knees, or maybe even lie down at the end of the class. If you are seated, let's just turn our palms face up, again shrugging those shoulders down, closing the eyes, and just spending a minute or so connecting with our breath, just returning to our breath at the end of that short stretch class for our hips and our hamstrings. As you take that deep breath in, you feel the rise of the belly, and let's take an exhale through the mouth, just feeling everything soften and relax. Staying here for as long as you would like to today. I hope you're feeling a little more mobile through your hips and your hamstrings. And remember, you can use this practice either on its own or add it onto another practice, or even after or before any other exercise program that you are undertaking. Please do subscribe to my channel. Share this video with anyone that you think may find it useful, and I will see you on the mat again very soon. Thank you.